Hello, and thank you for choosing OFL Virtual for your summer school opportunity. A little bit about our school. We are a WASC accredited program, so all of the summer school credits that you complete during your time with us will be approved to send you on to a four-year university. We're also a student-centered program with our personalized education to meet your individual needs. We have flexible scheduling due to our online nature, and then we also offer accelerated progress opportunities. All of our coursework is completed in the Play-Doh learning environment, and we do offer tutoring sessions if you need them. We do have a certain set of expectations for our students. So we do need you to be logging into Edmentum as regularly as possible because our summer session is only 5 weeks long. As far as the amount of work goes, we do ask that you are completing 1 unit per week if you're only taking 1 course, 2 units per week if you're taking 2 courses, and if you're super adventurous and would like to take 3 courses, we ask that you are completing 3 units per week to make sure that you can complete all of the unit work that you have during the 5 weeks. And then please note that you can only enroll in courses with a referral from your counselor. We also expect our students to sign attendance, which will be emailed to you during the school months, and just go ahead and sign that as soon as you receive it. And we do also expect that you communicate with us. So our school hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. We just ask that if we are sending you emails or messages that you reply in a timely manner so that we can make sure we're doing our best to help you. If students do not log in for 2 weeks, your student account will be deactivated in Edmentum, and you will need to contact your teacher to be reactivated. The reason we do this is because we only have a 5-week period, and we don't want you to complete part of a class because most schools will not accept partial credit for completed courses. You do need to complete all units in the course to receive credit for your school. So what is Play-Doh or Edmentum? It's an online courseware with a progress tracker and communication center, and you complete your work by completing tutorials, mastery tests, and unit activities, lesson activities, and post-tests. So we're going to go ahead and log in and take a look at what Edmentum looks like. So when you go to Edmentum, this is what it's going to look like. This is the login page, and it'll have some information on, when their system might be down and closed. But let's go ahead and log in. So your account login is always going to be OLVS, and then you'll put in your username and your password, which were sent to you, and then go ahead and log in. Once you're logged in, you'll be brought to the home screen. The home screen is going to contain all classes you are actively working on, as well as alerts and a toolbar up on top. The classes that you're actively working on will appear here. If you have not started yet, which is the case for you, you'll see new next to the title of the class. From here, you can go to select a new activity. So let's take a look at an English class. And then this will take you into that course. The first thing that you'll notice is that all classes are broken down into 5 separate units. And everything under this unit header must be completed for the unit to be considered complete, and all 5 units must be completed for the course to be considered complete, unless you came in with some transfer credits. So units are made up of different bubbles here, and each different bubble must be completed for the unit to be considered complete. They're all broken down into 3 basic things. All units consist of a discussion, a set of activities, and some kind of assessment. In this case, the assessment is a unit activity, but other assessments might be tests. In English classes, you'll also notice that there are Cornell notes, which there is another video that will explain to you how to complete this assignment if you do not know how. Then we also have what I call modules, and modules are made up of 2 parts. They're made up of a tutorial and a mastery test. The tutorial is kind of like what you'd get out of a classroom. It's going to be all of the information that you need, as well as some activities, which will lead you to be able to completing the mastery test, which is usually just a 5-question quiz for you to answer related to the tutorial that you just went through. So let's take a look at what a tutorial looks like. There are certain features included in the tutorials that are pretty important. When you open some of the tutorials, they start playing a little video right away. So we're going to go ahead and pause that. And then we can go ahead and just continue through. So you'll navigate
you as a student.
We'll get to this in a second.
In this lesson, you will recognize what is expected.
So, this is what it's like when you first open a tutorial. You'll notice that it immediately started reading to you and playing through it, and then you saw me turn it off. But I'll go through and explain that in a minute. So this is how you can navigate on your own pace through the tutorials. It's just with the buttons up at the top, until you finally get to some actual class information. So, this specific tutorial is called Who Are You as a Student? And it's going to go through 42 different slides of different information. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll notice you have a table of contents. So right now I can click back to the introduction or back to academic identity where I am, but I can't click forward because this hasn't been completed yet. Once I have completed a tutorial, you can go back and click through any of the sections if you need to review some information. There's also a notes category. This is super useful for classes that don't require notes as an assignment because you are allowed to use notes on all of your tests, so I highly recommend taking them. Any resources that are linked or talked about throughout the tutorial will be included in the resources folder. There's also a dictionary, so if you don't know the meaning of a word, let's see. Let's say you don't know the meaning of the word study. So you can look that word up, and it'll give you several definitions and even give you an audio sample. So what I did earlier was I turned off the slide narration, but feel free to toggle that on or off as it's necessary for you. There's also a translator, so you can translate English words into many different languages. And then there's a highlighting tool. So you can select a certain amount of text, and you can choose a highlighter color for it, or you can opt to remove the highlights. So those are the features available in the toolbar on the left-hand side. And as you continue to go through, you'll see that just information continues. And if you are taking notes, you'll want to take really quality ones because you're able to use them on your mastery tests and any final unit tests. And then ultimately, you may be stopped by some questions. So here you'd have to, enter in information. If you try and click submit, you must enter an answer. So please do always complete the work in the tutorial. Some values. I'm going to be able to skip through this just because of the type of account that I have. Then you can usually see some sort of sample answer that'll give you an idea of how you should have completed that question. And then we can continue on. Finally, you might come to a lesson activity. So this is going to ask you to complete this activity based off of certain criteria up at the top. So here, we're going to separate these two things, and then down at the bottom, there's a self-evaluation. Please make sure that you always complete these, and in some cases, like in our class, you can print them and actually convert this file and save it as a PDF. But there's another video on that if you need some information. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. So let's say I've done enough work for today. I've been working for my 4 to 6 hours. And this is where I'm going to stop. So you always want to make sure you click on Save and Exit, which will take you back to your class. Now something you will notice is that this circle went from being empty like all the others to half full. That's because we have started an activity within this module, but we have not completed both parts, so that's going to be half full, and because we didn't complete the tutorial, it's half full. You need to make sure all of the circles are filled up for the unit to be complete.
So that's basically what it looks like when you go into a class. Let's look at some other options up at your top bar, which includes All My Work. Once you begin working on classes, you'll be able to access them just a different way through All My Work in here. So you can just see all the different things that are assigned to you and your progress in them. Then we can go into the Messages Center, where you'll see on your left-hand side will be any messages that you have received. And on your right-hand side, you'll see a button for a new message. This will allow you to contact any of your teachers. So anyone whose class you're enrolled in, you'll be able to contact here. You won't be able to contact other students. If you do take notes in any of your classes that don't require them for credit, in the notes section that's available in all of your tutorials, they will appear here, and then you'll have the option to print them out, which I recommend since you won't have access to them any other way. So that's the basic tour of Edmentum and how to use it.
In addition to weekends, student holidays are not counted as school days. As far as I'm aware, the only school holiday you're going to encounter is the 4th of July. You are not required to work on weekends or the 4th of July. However, our school is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can work anytime that works for you. But just remember that we are only available 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. The best way to be successful at OFL Virtual is to develop a study schedule. You need to work at least 4 to 6 hours Monday through Friday and identify what study methods work for you. You definitely need to complete 2 to 3 units per week if you are completing more than one course with us during the summer session. Make sure that we can get a hold of you and let us know if your email address or phone number has changed during the period you are enrolled with us. Go ahead and take breaks while you're working. There's no reason for you to sit in front of a computer for 4 to 6 hours straight each day. Get up, walk around, have some water, go outside, take a breather. Make sure you're setting small goals for yourself so that you're not overwhelmed with the amount of work that you have. And make sure that you're always asking for help. Please be specific when you ask for help so that we can help you in the most effective way possible. And always communicate with your teachers. Let us know what's going on and what we can do to make your time with OFL Virtual easier. The best way to communicate with us is through email. And as we saw in the Edmentum tutorial, you have access to all of our emails if you are enrolled in our courses. So, what's next? It's time to get to work. Classes are going to start on July 3rd, and remember, you only have 5 weeks to get all of your work done. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you out, but otherwise, we look forward to working with you.